Good day, I am Erwin Schwella, the Dean of the School of Social Innovation at Hugenote, and we think, quite good ideas to make the world a better place. I'm joined today by Lyzette Schwella, who is a lecturer within the school, and we are going to discuss with you some ideas and some of the institutions as well as the implementation of our academic program. And this academic program is currently being constructed, and let me start with a big idea. The big idea with this academic program, which will become a type of MBA, an MBA for social innovation leadership, social entrepreneurship, and social business. So we are building towards having a formally accredited qualification at the School of Social Innovation at Hugenote, which is the go-to MBA. It's not an MBA. I live with integrity. We talk about our integrity movement, #Integritas, so I don't want to create any misunderstanding. It is not an MBA. It will start out to be a postgraduate diploma in social innovation leadership and compassionate management, and we're building it up in a particular way. Now let me also introduce one or two more ideas before I get more into the institutionalization. Knowledge is a fascinating commodity. Knowledge is the only commodity, it's also a community, but a knowledge community. It's the only commodity which increases when you use it. Have you ever thought about the fact that if you've got fuel, or if you've got money, or if you've got agricultural products, by using that commodity, you decrease the amount of it. Knowledge is fascinating. The more you need knowledge and the more you use knowledge, the more knowledge you gain. So it's the only commodity in the universe that expands by using it. And fascinating, it's the only commodity in the universe that also expands when you share it. If you share your maize meal or your gold or your oil with anybody, then you've got less and somebody else has got some. Whereas with knowledge, the more you share, the more you have, and all of the parties who share have more. So that is why knowledge is such a fascinating commodity. Now, with that in mind, we also refer to the knowledge value chain. We in academia and at Hugenote and within the School of Social Innovation and the other schools at Hugenote, we work with the knowledge value chain. The first part of that knowledge value chain is in actual fact to discover knowledge. For that, we need to be aware of what goes on around us and do some form of action or theoretical research. So that is discovering knowledge. Once you've discovered knowledge, the second step in the beneficiation, the improvement of that knowledge, because knowledge is a fantastic commodity, but it comes out of the ground like gold ore or iron ore. You also have to beneficiate it. You have to, in a certain sense, hone it. The second step in the knowledge value chain is after you've discovered it, you must also validate it. So you must get the evidence to make sure that your knowledge is solid knowledge. It's not conspiracy theories. It's not false knowledge. So you need to validate it, and that means you have to validate it on the basis of getting evidence to support your knowledge. Or, in actual fact, and this is interesting about knowledge, often in academia, which is different from politics and faith, we want to falsify our knowledge. That's a strange concept, because we actually say that we put out our knowledge there and we challenge people to say you are wrong. In politics and religion, and those are systems that work in their own way, and there's nothing wrong in the way in which they work, but it's different from academia. Academia says we put out our knowledge there with the explicit notion that you must find evidence to the contrary so that we can falsify the knowledge. And as long as we've not falsified it, it is valid and reliable knowledge. And that's why you have to have valid and reliable knowledge, and that's the second part, validation and reliability. The third part of the beneficiation process is then to share and disseminate knowledge. So you want to get it out there. Sharing it makes it more, so we have a drive to share it. And sharing that knowledge means that we do it through publishing it in research papers, through providing it to people as a form of consultancy, to provide services around it, but also through teaching and education. And in this case, we are building what we have termed the MBA for Social Innovation Leadership and Compassionate Management in South Africa at the School of Social Innovation at Hugenote, initially as an advanced diploma, a postgraduate diploma, which we are currently accrediting. This links to our institutions. With those ideas, building an MBA-like qualification, and then using what we learn from you in the classroom in a way in which we validate, beneficiate, and disseminate the knowledge in a co-creative knowledge creation process. We use a number of institutions, and I'm quickly going to give you some of those. First of all, we use the School of Social Innovation at Hugenote. It links to the other schools, the School of Social Transformation and the School of Theology and Ministry, and of course the broader Hugenote. Secondly, we also use our Center for Good Governance in Africa, which is associated with Hugenote and managed and facilitated by the School of Social Innovation, where we intend to do something more with our knowledge value, and that is not only to beneficiate it, but to indigenize it, to make it context relevant to South African realities and African realities, because we need to deal with the big issues and opportunities in Africa with a form of indigenized African knowledge and South African knowledge, which is relevant for our context. So the Center for Good Governance in Africa, linked to the School of Social Innovation, linked to Hugenote. Then we have within our constellation of knowledge institutions also the Institute for Technology and Society, which is affiliated to our work within the Center for Good Governance in Africa, the School of Social Innovation and Hugenote, and is managed by a social business. And with that one I will conclude for now. A social business which we have established, and that social business is called Civinovus, which is a project and program manager which connects all of these elements in our constellation together as a program and project manager and facilitator. So we are building this particular postgraduate diploma, and it is currently with the Department of Higher Education for accreditation. It's currently not accredited yet. However, we are building that, and then we're doing that as a big idea to be the MBA for Social Innovation Leadership and Compassionate Management in social innovation settings and to enhance social entrepreneurship. What we are now doing is we're also implementing this. Remember, we talked about the big idea, the institutions involved with this big idea, and then the implementation of the big idea. While we are waiting for accreditation from the National Higher Education Department, we have started a rollout which will happen this year. And this year is 2021. We are going to package 3 of these broader course elements as part of our program in short executive course delivery, executive short course delivery. And Lyzette, my colleague, is very busy with that project in terms of packaging these. They will be delivered in a particular way, and in actual fact we are now marketing 3 of these courses, and she has developed with the Hugenote and our colleagues there and the other institutions a marketing plan and some marketing material. So I'm now going to ask Lyzette to give us some information on the 3, we have 10 finally, but for current purposes the 3 executive short courses, in terms of what the titles of these courses are, basic content of these courses, and how we present them by means of our platforms within Hugenote College. Lyzette, if you could kindly just give us an idea of our 3 executive short courses now available and being marketed, so that people can enroll for them and build that into finally an accredited postgraduate diploma. And once again, living with integrity means that we have to be honest and completely transparent. Please remember that these aspects are in progress. We are quite convinced that our accreditation will come through, but currently we are still busy with that process of accreditation, and we will not claim accreditation, as some other people might, until we've got it formally. But we are quite certain that we are working on a quality product, and it is fairly inexpensive, and it is aimed at your needs as a social innovator, a social entrepreneur, and a social business person. Lyzette, if you could kindly just elaborate on the courses that we are marketing, a bit about their content, and then how we deliver them and when they will be delivered. Over to you.
Okay. Yes, the 3 courses that we are currently busy marketing is the one starts in February, the 10th of February, then we will on the 10th of March, and then on the 19th of May. So we are currently marketing human-centered design thinking for social innovation and entrepreneurship. It's the first course where you will learn all about human-centered design thinking, also how to address the most difficult problems in the world with third alternative thinking, as well as with John Cotter's model of change that you can use. So the focus is on how to look differently at problems and to help people in your communities to see all the opportunities they have. You will be very surprised to see how many social entrepreneurs there are already. Our only concern now is that we don't see the real impact of all the good work that a lot of people are currently doing. And with the help of the human-centered design thinking for social innovation and entrepreneurship, it will just guide people to do it more officially, and also to have a lot of hope, because there's a lot of changing going on already. The other course that will start in March is about leadership and social innovation for entrepreneurship. Now, we firmly believe in the School of Social Innovation that leadership is paramount. You need to understand leadership, exercise leadership, and we truly believe that if we have servant leadership, if we have good leadership, it will have a big impact in the world as well. So the next one is about leadership and also about social innovation and entrepreneurship. I know a lot of people that are interested in social matters do not like business. When they hear business, you often think, oh, it's not for me, I don't understand business. But if you come on our courses, you will realize that social and business have a lot in common. And we all know that money is important. It's not the most important thing, but where there is money, there is opportunities. The last of the 3 courses, not the last course, but the last one, is about mentoring and coaching, personal mastery, and emotional intelligence for social innovation. We know that mentoring and coaching can go a long way, and the more people get mentored and coached, the better they do for themselves. Each individual has a lot of potential, and if you can be the best you can be, you are serving the world, you are serving yourself, and it will only benefit everybody. It's a win-win situation. Emotional intelligence is so important, and it makes such a big difference. It's really the one way of becoming a star performer if you have emotional intelligence. And the nice thing about emotional intelligence, it is something that can develop. And there are practical ways of how you can develop it. And in this course, you will find those ways. The only thing will be for you to go and implement it. The same with personal mastery. We are continuously learning, and in this course you will be so amazed by yourself, but also about all the things that you can do to be your best self. We are not in competition with anybody. Please go onto our website. In Hugenote Kollege you will find a lot of the School of Social Innovation and about our courses.
Thank you, Lyzette. And then just a couple of very practical things. Remember, Lyzette said that we are starting this in a sequence in February and in March and then in May again. We are delivering this in a particular way. Lyzette, maybe you should just elaborate on the delivery mode so that people realize that we have adapted what is the current reality in terms of, for example, COVID-19 protocols. Perhaps you can just briefly indicate how we will deliver this throughout the country, in actual fact throughout the world. Anybody on the whole of the African continent and even globally can join this course. Lyzette, if you could kindly just elaborate on that.
Yes, this is an online course. It will give you between 3.5 months to complete it. There will be 3 Zoom sessions of 4 hours each. The rest will be self-study, but the 3 Zoom sessions will give you enough guidance to be able to do the self-study, and then you will also will be assessed, but the assessments will be a walk in the park if you really do your self-study, if you do the reading. Yes, you have to attend all 3 Zoom sessions, you have to complete all the assignments, there are 4 of them, to be able to get a certificate of Hugenote Kollege. And then later it can also be part of your PG DIP, your postgraduate diploma. But I think the better thing to do here is the self-studying is what it means. It's for yourself. And the better you are for the world. But it will be online, so there's no restriction regarding the amount of people that can attend.
Yes, and to link to that, we are supported by a strong technologically based platform which is based upon the best education technology for online learning, which is My Notes, and that is then delivered via our Hugenote platform. Secondly, or maybe thirdly, Lyzette, people often think that this should be very expensive. And perhaps we should put people at ease to say that in actual fact, you must think about it. If you think education is expensive, you should realize how expensive not being educated is. Ignorance is much more expensive than education to start off with. But this is not expensive. We are a value-driven organization. We do have to be sustainable because we do not receive any government subsidies as a private higher education faith-based institution. So we need to recover our costs and in actual fact work as social entrepreneurs and with social innovation. But Lyzette, perhaps you should just give the interested people an indication of how they're going to get excellent value for money by spending a very small amount per course.
Yes, the courses are 2,999 Rand each, so it's just below 3,000. And it's really inexpensive for what you get. You'll get a lot of information and a lot of guidance. And this will only benefit you in so many different ways. So yes, it's really not expensive. I do believe that some people think because they pay a lot of money, they will get a lot of value. But in this case, you will get a lot of value and you will not have a problem with your bank account.
So in conclusion then, and in a slightly humoristic way, to link to what Lyzette has just said, I am aware that people sometimes make an assessment of the value of education in terms of the price of that education. And then people say, if it is that cheap, it's costing me for this particular program less than 3,000 rands per course. Can it be of value? Well, I can assure you this is excellent value for money. I'm willing to, on the basis of my experience, and I've worked with universities across the world, amongst others with Harvard University at the Kennedy School of Government, and that is a reference you can check because we live with integrity. I've worked in European universities, in African universities. I'm willing to say that this particular delivery, this particular product is, I would rate it as world-class education at less than 3,000 rands for a 90 hours, notional hours of education where you are going to gain. And as we have said, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. It's much more expensive. We thank you, and please go and visit our websites. If you are interested, please also, and I'm going to repeat this email address, send us an email at admin@civinovus.co.za. I repeat that, admin@civinovus.co.za, admin@civinovus.co.za, and then we can refer you to the right channels to get enrolled. Please remember that time is of the essence. The first course starts on the 10th of February, and that is the course on human-centered design thinking, which is a centerpiece for the other work, although you can do this in any sequence that you want and prefer. Thank you very much, and we look forward to meeting you so that you can help us co-create knowledge.